Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. But today we will be giving you guys our World's End predictions. Obviously, this is the last show of the year across all pretty much promotions. And yeah, it's a pretty solid card. We have the end of the Continental Classic as well as a big fatal four-way for the World Championship. So yeah, a lot of cool matches. Not the biggest hype card, but I think will produce a lot of good matches.
Yeah, there's some things on this card that I'm hyped for. There's some things I'm kind of not so much hyped for. But I think overall it'll be a pretty good show.
And let's kick it off with the Continental Classic. And that's going to be in the first match in the semifinals. It's going to be Kazuchika Okada versus Konosuke Takeshita. The big match. The match that we thought could have been in the finals. But they're going to do it here in the semifinals. And yeah, I could see this being a little bit different on how they might try to play this off. But yeah, a big match in the semifinals. Who do you got?
Yeah, I have a kind of a prediction. I do think this match won't go first. I believe the Fletcher match will go first in my kind of theory that I have going on. But in this match, I do have Takeshita winning. I feel like he should come out of this the big baby face. He won the G1 this year. He won that championship. Now I feel like him defeating Okada, winning that championship, going on to be this big baby face in 2026 would be great.
Yeah, I'd also have Konosuke Takeshita to get the win here. It feels like as this story has been brewing, Okada has been able to get more licks in on Takeshita, and we've seen him kind of just be able to get the upper hand on him more times than none, whereas Takeshita has been taking a lot of it. He's got the opportunities to, but he's held back for whatever that reason may be, but now they're locked in the ring, 1v1, so yeah, I think Takeshita walks out with the win, and it should be a really good match, and yeah, obviously we'll see one of these come in again later on in the night, so that's as well as to take into what happens again in the last match. But yeah, the next round, or the other match of the Continental Classic semifinals, is going to be Kyle Fletcher versus Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley, you didn't really think would make it this far into the tournament. However, is here in the semifinals versus Kyle Fletcher, a guy who's obviously on the rise still. But yeah, who do you think walks out on top?
Yeah, for this one, I will go with Kyle Fletcher. I'll kind of reveal my storyline once we get to the finals of what exactly I have going on. But once again, I have this one going first, then the Takeshita match, but I do have Fletcher winning here.
Yeah, I can match you there as well. I do think Kyle Fletcher will walk out on top against Jon Moxley here. Yeah, I think Moxley, I think there's a better story for him to lose this, to kind of play with more Death Rise storyline, and I think it's better for Kyle Fletcher to walk out on top to obviously meet Takeshita in the finals. There's a big Don Callis family, brewing storyline going on, and whether who plays the heel role of that match, I think will be a very interesting side. Obviously, it could be a more friendly type of match, but with how these men will get for something like the Continental Championship, I think it will be a little bit nastier, and we'll see a lot of different side from both men. But yeah, should be a really good match. And yeah, so now into the Continental Classic finals now. I think we both have Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita. So who do you think walks out as the new Continental champion?
So in my storyline, I have the Fletcher match going on first. He gets the big win. Then I have in the Okada Takeshita match, I have Takeshita actually getting the big win. However, Okada will hit him, or maybe Don Callis turns on him during the match, but he still picks up the win. But after that, I have them kind of jumping Takeshita, kind of leaving him weak and vulnerable, leading into the Fletcher match, of course. But I still will have Takeshita coming out on top and being the AEW Continental Champion.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's kind of no real wrong to do. Whoever wins this, if you have Fletcher or Takeshita, both men are fan favorites from a lot of people, and they're both just two of the best in pretty much all of wrestling right now. So yeah, I don't mind who wins. I do think I want Takeshita to win. I think there's a better story for him to kind of get his momentum now, to potentially build for a world championship status, whereas Kyle Fletcher's coming still with the TNT champion. So yeah, I think it's a better story to have Takeshita win, to have his big AEW rising moment. So yeah, should be a really good match. Probably going to be the match of the night. Yeah, probably the match I'm most looking forward to as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's probably, I think the storyline going into it has been great. I feel like right now is definitely the time to pull the trigger on it. I don't want Tony Khan to kind of drag this any more longer with Okada and Takeshita. I do want whatever is going to happen, I want it to happen on this night.
Yeah, and next up, we're going to go into some Darby Allin match, and that is going to be him versus Gabe Kidd. Yeah, this match, not really too much, I guess, to go over this much, but kind of a little bit random. So yeah, who do you have with this one?
Yeah, this is another match that I don't want to say I'm not too hyped for because I do think the match will be good, but I just kind of don't like that this is still going on. I know he's not necessarily a Death Rider, but he's kind of a Death Rider, and I don't like that Darby's still in this kind of stratosphere of the Death Rider still, regardless of winning or losing, previous matches or whatever the case may be. So I don't really like it storyline wise, but match wise, this will probably be amazing. I could definitely see Darby bouncing all over the place for Gabe Kidd, making him look as strong as he actually is. So this will be a really good match, but I do have Gabe Kidd winning this one.
Yeah, this one I think will be a very interesting match. I do like both these men's styles when they will clash in the ring. I think this one will make for a really fun match. I do think I have Darby Allin walking on top just because he's been on a little bit of like a downward spell. Obviously, he has some big wins, but also it feels like his losses are bigger than his wins. So yeah, I do have Darby to get a win here. Obviously, with the potential of Death Rider's interference in this match, I think that is something that's going to happen. So I'm not going to be surprised if that's how he ends up losing the match as well. But yeah, should be a pretty fun match and could be a little underrated match on the night.
Yeah.
And then next up for the AEW World Tag Teams Champions, we have the Chicago Street Fight between FTR and the Bang Bang Gang, the combination of Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn. Who do you got walking out as tag team champions?
Yeah, I really was hoping that it would be Ace Austin that would be part of the kind of official tag team rather than Juice Robinson, or maybe Juice Robinson, Ace Austin, whatever combination. I just want Ace Austin involved. We're not going to get that, unfortunately, but I do have FTR retaining. I do feel like, they just won it. They probably should go on a pretty consistent run until maybe they run into Jet Speed later on or something of that nature, or maybe, Adam Copeland makes his big return or something of that. But yeah, I do have FTR coming out on top in the Chicago Street Fight.
Yeah, FTR and the Bang Bang Gang have a lot of good history with one another when they have these big tag team matches. Obviously, it's in a lot of different combinations at times, but yeah, I think this match could be really fun with a street fight stipulation on it. I think could add for a lot of cool moments, but I do also have FTR walking out on top here. Like you said, it's still one of their first defenses with the tag team champions, so yeah, I feel like they shouldn't lose here, especially to a tag team. I would rather it being both the Guns or Juice Robinson and Ace Austin, like you mentioned. So yeah, I have FTR retaining. But again, another one that could be pretty fun.
Yeah, I think FTR is probably one of the better tag teams. I mean, we just ranked them in our previous video with the ranking tag teams, and we had them pretty high up there, of course. But I think this year in particular, they've been really good, and I think they've been good storyline-wise as well.
And let's stick in the tag team division, but going over to the women's with their first pay-per-view defense. And that's going to be the Babes of Wrath, obviously your tag team champions, Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale. And they will team up against Athena and Mercedes Moné. So a big match here for Babes of Wrath. But who do you got walking out on top?
Yeah, this one, I mean, Mercedes Moné and Athena, they're obviously two of the best wrestlers in the world, really, not even just in AEW. But, in story right now, Mercedes on this big losing streak. Athena kind of has friction with Mercedes in a way after they lost the last time. Mercedes kind of got in her face. And we've seen at Ring of Honor, I believe Athena said something about her back as well. But yeah, there's been a lot of things going on with this team, so I will have the Babes of Wrath defending their tag team championships and retaining it.
Yeah, I'm also going to have Babes of Wrath getting the win here as well. With this being one of their first real big defense, I think they should kind of get a big statement win here. Obviously, it's going to be very hard to do that against Mercedes and Athena, but I think there's something that's going to happen between those two, like you kind of said, and to kind of make it so where Babes of Wrath get the advantage. So, yeah. I think this match, again, could be another sneaky good one. And, yeah, hopefully we don't see another Mercedes Moné belt win.
No.
But now for the AEW Women's World Champion is going to be Chris Statler taking on Jamie Hayter. A big match. Who do you got walking on top?
Yeah, this is kind of a weird match for me because I do love Chris Statlander. She is probably my favorite woman in AEW. However, I do kind of feel like the championship reign hasn't really felt like it was supposed to feel for me as a big fan of her. It's supposed to feel, oh, she finally got it, but I never really felt like that. Maybe it was because of the way she won it with the roll-up, or maybe it's because of the way they booked her after she did win it. I don't know what it was, but she had some amazing matches. It's definitely not that. She had amazing matches with Tony, amazing matches with Mercedes, and a few other people in between as well. but I do kind of have her losing in a pretty short run here. Jamie Hayter is pretty hot right now. She's been doing a lot of really good stuff. She was one of the kind of MVPs of the Blood and Guts match, doing a lot of really cool things there. And then everything after that as well. So Jamie Hayter, I think she's probably going to be our new AEW World Champion.
Yeah, I think this match could definitely go both ways. However, I still will have Chris Statlander retaining here. Like you said, I think Jamie does pose a real threat to Statlander here, but I think Chris Statlander's reign should last a little bit longer. I would like to see this happening in a rematch sometime soon. I wouldn't mind Jamie Hayter being the one to dethrone Chris in the end, but I would like her to get the win here. So yeah, should be a really good match. And again, another match that could steal the show.
Yeah.
But now into the Fatal 4-Way main event. It is going to be MJF, Hangman Adam Page, Swerve Strickland, all going after Samoa Joe in his AEW World Championship. This is also MJF's Casino Gauntlet cash-in. So, big match, big names. Who do you got standing tall?
Yeah, this match is crazy. I love the way that kind of MJF inserted himself in last minute. I was very much not anticipating this match, being that it was a rematch of literally last year's World's End, and they kind of had this feud that lasted quite a while already. So I was kind of didn't really want to get back into that again. I didn't really like that Samoa Joe won the title either. So there's a lot of things I didn't like leading into this match. However, MJF being included kind of changes all that around and makes it a whole new ball game. They kind of did a thing tonight where they teamed up and they made it sort of weird. I kind of wanted more anger between Hangman and Swerve, being like, all right, I want the title. No, I want the title. But we didn't really get that. They more so teamed up against MJF and then as well as Samoa Joe. But there's a lot of good storylines that they did going into this match. I think MJF is going to be my pick for this one. I think he's the best choice. He's someone who's obviously the biggest star in AEW, arguably. I mean, as far as like, you know, just big names in the world, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think MJF getting a big win would be amazing leading into 2026. So that's what I'm going to go for here.
Yeah, for this one, I think it's kind of hard to go wrong. Even if Samoa Joe were to win here and kind of retain, it would be a very surprising and shocking win. However, I think it would still be a very good way to kind of, obviously Samoa Joe in his later years, it would be a really interesting way to kind of play out the rest of this run. Because obviously if he's able to beat these three names, it would be a very big statement. However, Swerve Strickland on the comeback, who definitely seems like he's ready to be a world champion again. Whereas Hangman felt like his reign ended kind of a bit too soon, whereas MJF, like you mentioned, one of the biggest stars, is going to be a name that's going to always pose a threat. But in the end, I do have Swerve Strickland walking out on top. I think, like I said, with his big return, it feels like the momentum that he had last year, the run he was on was probably one of the best championship reigns we had in quite some time, and I think it could continue here going into a new year. I think it could set up a great year for Swerve once again to put him back on the top of the wrestling world. So yeah, a big one here for Swerve, and yeah, this again is going to be a match I think will be one of the best matches to kind of end the year.
It is really not a wrong answer for this match. I think the only one that probably is wrong is Samoa Joe, because I think even Hangman winning the belt back is like a big redemption story for him to be, all right, I did lose the title, but I won it back, and not only did I win it back, but I won it back in a fatal four-way versus these three people who are some of the best wrestlers in the world. So I think that is kind of like a really good storyline that you could go through as well. I like what you did with Swerve Strickland. I think him going into 2026, kind of going into all in towards an Ospreay match is probably a really good direction to go in. However, MJF, like my pick is, I think you could go with him versus almost anyone and it'd be just as big, because he is kind of the big star in that match no matter who it is. But yeah, I love this match. I love the inclusion of MJF. I love how they booked it storyline wise. I love the beatdown that they did tonight on Dynamite. So a lot of good things leading into it. So hopefully this gives us a big payoff on World's End.
Yeah, I think this Fatal 4-Way has been one of the best structured matches in terms of like everybody has their reason. There's no real kind of clear front runner who we think is going to win. So I think in terms of just big match feel, it's definitely going to have it on the night. Yeah, it should be a really fun match. But that would do it for our World's End prediction. What is your favorite match that you're looking most forward to?
Probably, honestly, the first match that we talked about, Okada and Takeshita. I feel like the storyline leading into it has been really good. Like as you mentioned, Okada got the upper hand on him quite a few times, but Takeshita never seemed to want to go back at him. So I feel like this will be the night where he officially goes all in. And he's like, all right, I'm letting loose, and I don't care what Don Callis says. I don't care what the fans say. I don't care what the ref says. I'm getting this one tonight.
Yeah, but let us know what you guys think is going to be the best match on the night down in the comments below. If you haven't already, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Only a few days left of the December Marathon, so make sure to stay tuned to finish out the month with us. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Merry Christmas.